We'll be singing when we're winning. Bum, bum, bum. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never ever gonna keep me down. I get knocked down. What's up, Dave?
Get it? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm just feeling a little mumbo jumbo, funky, getting
Chumbawamba?
to it, bro. I
Nice,
forget what
dude.
they're called, dude. They were great.
Chumbawamba. Good old
Chumba wumba,
days.
mumbo wumba, whatever, dude. It's all gravy. So
It's all good.
you watched the game. We
I
didn't
did
get a chance to
indeed.
talk about it.
All right.
Everybody in the chat was around for that fucking amazing ending. There are so many things to talk about with the Thunder right now, but let's just start out with the fact that the Warriors can officially call us daddy, I think, now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we just if you take out that one game we lost, which Unk went to, by the way. Unk,
Oh,
don't go to any more um,
you're grounded.
Golden State Thunder games. But no, I think it's great though, man. If you think about what we were able to do and accomplish right now, it's truly spectacular. And yes, Golden State is down. That does not mean they're going to stay down all season. And being able to beat a team like we did 3 times this year, while they're trying to figure out their legs right now, is key because they are going to go on a run and they're going to be unbeatable. And when they do that, I don't want to play them. And I'm glad that we don't now.
There's a lot of times we'll look at the schedule when it comes out and we'll see these teams and we're like, tough
Wash,
team,
El
easy
Bro,
team,
Keelan. What's up, guys?
tough team, easy team, tough team, easy team. And then all of a sudden, the Rockets are streaking and the Warriors are slumping. And so it flips. And all of a sudden, you win the game you think is going to be tough, and you lose the game you think that you should win. But either way, we're sitting here and we've got second place in the West in our pocket. Now,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
not very many games. We're, what, 20 games in or something. So,
21,
like
yeah.
a quarter of the way, a lot of things can change up. But
So
I'm
much.
feeling pretty sexy right now.
Yeah, and we should be because when you're sitting at second in the West and in the last 3 seasons, you're just sitting out in, non-playoff contention at this moment in the season. And that's really where we were at last year at this point. We were just like wishing we could be in the top, wishing we could be in the top 7, 8. And we're just sitting in that, tweener spot. And now it's just nice to be able to sit there and be like, yeah, we've earned this spot. We've earned this position. And it's enjoyable for sure because you look at teams and yeah, we got beat by the Houston Rockets, but the Houston Rockets are playing really good at home. I
We
shouldn't
just beat the
feel like that
Nuggets.
should be like a slap in the face at all by any stretch of the imagination. And they beat the Denver Nuggets a couple nights ago, so they're just a good functioning team right now, and that's weird to say from the Rockets because they're going to go in these waves where they're going to lose 8, 9, 10 games in a row, and then they'll just flip it around and do the same thing in winning games in a row because they're young. That's what they'll do. And that's what the Thunder are so great about right now is that we're consistent. We're consistently in that, you know, 14-7. We win 4 games. We lose a game. It's just this awesome, even keel way of playing, and that's the thing that we have to do throughout the season. We shouldn't get too excited about crazy runs. We will go on winning campaigns of 8 or 9 games in a row. But the reality of this is that we just got to sit back and enjoy what's happening in Oklahoma City right now.
So we got a big vote in 2 days in Oklahoma City here, and I'm hoping that that goes through. It seems like it has a lot of support. I know some people who aren't
What's
supporting
up,
the
Unk?
bill. So, and I understand that. I understand both sides of it. I mean, there is a really good case to be made that ultimately the ownership isn't chipping enough money. But as it stands, I'd like to get this done, and then we can move forward. I'm sure Sam Presti feels that way too, and the whole organization. So I'm glad that the people get to vote on it because they're the ones who are going to have to pick up the bill. So, I'm hoping that we can move this forward and get that
I
done.
want to
But
see it move forward, hands
what
down.
else?
I want to see in Oklahoma City. It does not mean I'm going to ever change my support for the Thunder, but I don't want to see a team leave Oklahoma City right now because over the next 25 years, it could be, tens of billions of dollars that the team is able to bring into the city and the organization and all that other stuff and the jobs. And to me, like that right there changes a city. Like would Chicago be the same city without Michael Jordan winning all those championships in the 90s? Like you got to sit back and you got to say the same thing about football. I sent Mark something the other day. People are coming to Oklahoma City. They're moving to Oklahoma City because of the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's becoming a center of a place that you could go and cheer for a team that you love. And it's unlike anything I've ever seen in Oklahoma City before. So for me, I look at this and say, hell yeah, we want to keep our team there. because this brings jobs. But the reality of the situation is that it's not up to us. Yes, we are voting. Yes, we're going to help that vote push through, and we're telling everybody in our orbit to say, push the vote through. But and the reality of it is the Oklahoma City Thunder is always going to be in Oklahoma City. And I don't think that there's a chance in hell that people are going to vote to turn this down, because if they did, they know what's going to happen. We saw it happen in Seattle. This team is, a coin flip away from moving to Seattle again, or moving to Las Vegas, or moving to, another big city. And that's what's concerning. I wanted to stay in Oklahoma City, but is it going to change my wavering fact that we got to see this team as a young team early on? No. So, yeah, man, let's get it done. Let's get it passed so I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Yeah, we like it that this particular team represents our city. And shout out to the mayor, Mayor David Holt, for
Yeah, dude.
putting this on the ballot in such an amazingly well-timed move. This team is starting to get the energy back. I heard so many people talking. I watched the post-game press conferences and stuff, and they were just like, "Did you feel the energy, or is this like the old days?" They asked Shay, like, "Have you ever played in it like this?" And he's like, "Yes, when I was with the Clippers, this place would rock." And I felt that was a little bit sad that he said that, like as if it was past tense and it hadn't been
Hmm.
that way for him. But whatever, like they've earned it. When they get that place rocking, they know that it's because of how hard they
Bro, it's
play and
different.
what they're doing.
I mean, let's just be honest. Like, there's a different atmosphere from playing in regular season and when everybody's wearing a white fucking t-shirt, screaming their fucking lungs out. I remember, man. I remember going to Oklahoma City after those playoff games and being in the city area and talking to people, right? Because I used to just go get drunk with at the bars with my brother Rob, who had free beers at the Bricktown Brewery, right?
All
Had
breweries
this
do it.
monthly thing, right? And we would just go get there and get drunk, and then people would come in after the playoff game and they couldn't talk. The place was almost silent because nobody could fucking talk. And it was just like everybody's voices were gone. Everything was gone. All their energy was gone. They're just sitting back and gloating because we would win, and they'd just be like, I don't need to say much anymore, and that is what was missing in Oklahoma City. And that's what Shay's talking about. It's not a diss in Oklahoma City. Like, oh, you guys just haven't had it. It's because in the playoff atmosphere, in the whiteout, and all that other shit that happens in Oklahoma City, man, it's unlike anything else because it's so loud and it's crazy.
And we've got a new big three. I mean, we've had it for a little while, but um, I would say the level of asserting his will that J Dub has done and Chet has
Hmm.
done recently have really just demonstrated that this team is in a different spot, Dave. Like, what do we see from J Dub the other night, man? What do we see from this guy who has started out showing us what he can do, but he's trying to figure out how he can put it together like a superstar can? And then all of a sudden, we saw a superstar. Did you feel like you saw a superstar?
Um, with Chet, that's the thing, man. He is a superstar.
Yeah.
And like that's what Sam Presti's been telling us since day one. When he told us and he sat up there and he talked about Chet getting injured in the beginning of the year and how horrible it was going to be. But he said to you and said to all of us, if you told me that we would be able to draft Chet and he would have to sit out 1 year because of injury, would I still draft him at number 2? And he said, yes, hands down, once in a generational player. That's all we need to know. If Presti's saying that, right? And then you're looking at what he has done in the first 21 games of his career, first 20 games of his career, you can't sit here and say, yeah, this guy's not for real. You got to sit here and say, dude, this dude is going to tear the NBA apart. And anybody that's going to be in his orbit is just crazy. And I was reading these things about NBA professionals talking about Victor versus Chet, and it's all those things that we said about Chet that Chet doesn't like, it's no bullshit. Like Chet goes out there and he just does the shit. Where all these other people are out there and they're saying, Victor's like shooting fadeaways and doing stupid shit in ISO and everything else like that. Whereas Chet just goes out there and fucking does it. And there's a different mindset. And you see somebody like Chet and you're saying, okay, yeah, in 2 years, could Chet be our best player on our team? Yeah. Fuck yeah. I mean, not just a little bit, but a lot. I mean, he could be averaging 36 points a game, 12 blocks, or no, not 12 blocks. I'm sorry, 5 blocks and 12 rebounds. I mean, that is his caliber. That is his ceiling. And it's crazy to say that you have somebody like that on your team. because you already have somebody that's averaging 31, 32 points a game and it's consistent. I mean, this is crazy, bro. Like we could talk about those two, but the reality of what we're seeing with Chet and Shea, right? J Dub. Well, everybody's focused and saying, look at those shiny fucking pieces the Oklahoma City Thunder have. Here comes J Dub saying, motherfuckers, don't forget about me. Because when it all is done, when it's all said and fucking done, J Dub could be the piece that we get to the playoffs. And second we hit the playoffs, he averages 35 points a game because everybody else is focused on piece one and piece two. They have to give the third best defender or fourth best defender on J Dub. And J Dub just tears them the fuck apart. They're like, well, we're not going to let Shea or Chet beat us. So we're going to let J Dub go ahead and do his thing. And then he just fucking tears everybody's asshole apart. And that's what J Dub will do, bro.
That's what I see too. I see J Dub playing his own game at his own pace, and he's found a way to play within like the other players' strengths so that everybody's complementing each other. Even though, like, we'll jump over to Josh Giddey. Even though Josh Giddey isn't getting any shine in this big three, right? Like, and understandably, he's frustrated for not playing the closing minutes in these games relatively recently.
But
Like, the reality of what Giddey brings to the table is he's our best rebounding guard. He is our best passing guard. And as soon as he finds a way to be elite on the perimeter from the shooting perspective, right, coach is going to leave him in there. But right now, teams are playing him out of the game, and coach is moving to Joe, who's providing great spark out in the defensive elements and then knocking down shot after shot after shot. So that's just a closing lineup thing. But obviously, he's won coach's approval because he's continuing to start. You know.
dude, Josh is simply this, and we can say anything else you want about Josh, but if he's going to go in the game and find open guys on the in, sideline, out of balance, right, which everybody has been calling slob, which I believe that Josh is a complete slob wizard. I mean, let's just put that out there. You can use that any way you guys want, but when you have somebody that's able
Sideline
to
out of bounds. I had to do it. Sideline.
yeah, there you go. Slob guys. And so if you think about it and you have somebody that can come in the game whenever you have the ball out of balance and automatically able to put you in a position to score or one pass and score, right?
Mm-hmm.
That right there is somebody that is a plus 10-point player. If they just stand out of balance and they're able to find somebody open, throwing the ball in balance, and they're able to do that's just 10 plus points right there. And then you have somebody that doesn't turn over the ball. And if you guys look at Josh's stats, he doesn't turn over the ball. He takes care of that ball, right? And not only that, but he finds the guys open when he's coming down the lanes. He gets in the lanes, he finds those lanes, he finds the open lanes, and then he finds the open lanes with inside the open lanes. Right, guys? And think about that. How many guys in the NBA are able to do that? And if you take about 10 seconds and you start realizing Josh has been forced to play the small forward and power forward position throughout the season, and you're like, man, the 20 something minutes a game he's getting isn't enough. You're right. It's not because he deserves to get more. But he is out of position almost all the time right now. And that's not a knock on him. That's not a knock on him. Teams are picking on him, teams are going at him, and they're doing it on purpose because they know how valuable Josh is. And if you let him go on the court and you're letting him be that slob wizard, he's going to fucking tear you apart. So Josh is demanding better defenders. He's demanding bigger defenders. He's demanding heavier defenders. And you're sitting there and you're saying 17 minutes tonight, that's not good. Well, guess what? Guess what? You look at his stats 17 minutes, he's been putting up 8 to 10 points, right? 4 or 5 assists, 3, 4 assists, whatever, 3, 4 rebounds, a couple steals in there, maybe a block. Like these are efficient numbers. And I understand what people will be like, well, he should be getting more of them. I get it. Case and Wall should be getting more. Fuck. J Dub should be getting 33, 35 minutes a game. Chet should be 35 minutes a game, but they're not because we are more concerned about keeping guys healthy than we are making sure that they get more PT. And I'll be honest with you guys, is the wear and tear that this process is having on Josh's body right now isn't worth putting him in the game for 25 to 40 minutes a game. It is never going to be worth it for him. We have to bring his minutes down until he gets stronger and he gets faster and he gets bigger. And then when he does that, we'll get his minutes up. but that does not come overnight. And if you look at it, guys, if you look at just the basics of what I'm saying, you got Chet at the 5 on defense, right? You got Josh Giddey at the 4. Why? Because he's the only other guy out there that's 6'9" or higher. And then you've got, J Dub. You've got what 6'5", 6'6". You got Shea 6'5", 6'6", and then Lou Dort 6'4". So it's obvious what's happening, and I want everybody just to be able to appreciate. Like, I understand there's a lot of shit going in the air about Josh Giddey, but I just want people to step back and appreciate what he is doing with the expectations that is being brought to him and saying, do this, do this, do this. Oh, and don't turn over the ball, which he doesn't.
Dude, what do you think about Case and Wallace right now? Um,
Oh, he's a rookie. He's going to have ups and downs, man. He's going to have insane moments. Just like, I mean, like, put in perspective, man. Isaiah Joe leads the NBA in plus minus right now. Like, I think he's plus 169. Okay. But that doesn't mean he's going to go out there and, play 25 minutes a game. You
right.
know, it doesn't mean he's going to go out there and hit 4 threes every single game. That's not his game, but it is his game, but it's not his whole game because he gets out there, charges, he plays defense, he's pulling up jump shots, he's doing all the other things. Case and Wallace is the same way. He's doing all these things. His defense is so on point. He's like a defensive master as a rookie. And that's where coach has been putting him. Like, his offense, he knows is going to come, but he's being able to put him in positions to allow Case and Wallace to be a great defender as a rookie, to get his confidence up and play better. And it's working.
So with Kaysen, like, if we had seen him a year ago on this team, or a few years ago, he would be starting. He would be playing nonstop minutes. We would have seen all sorts of unique elements to his game that right now it's like he's getting limited opportunities to prove it. But what we're seeing is one of the most efficient shooters in the league. I think he's leading the league in 3-point percentage right now. He's
Well, my question to you is this: swap it. Kaysen comes out last year when Oklahoma City picks him up at number 12. J Dub comes out this year and we're able to pick him up at number 10. All right. Is Kaysen a better player at this point than J Dub?
well, I
If
think if
Kaysen
Kaysen
had
had
an
a
extra
full
year on
year
his belt.
under his belt, and what we're talking about with Kaysen is, people are saying that he's an elite defender, which I think people who pay attention know he is, but it would be proven. We would
Yep.
also know that he was an elite shooter, and there's a high suspicion based on a very short amount of work so far that he can be. But if we knew those things coming into the season, and J Dub was an unknown player, and we started seeing like, hey, this guy could, really do what he does. He defends at an elite level. I think we'd be more excited because the problem is like a lot of people think, well, how is Kaysen going to crack the lineup?
Hmm.
Whereas J Dub, they look at him and they're like, you make room for a 6'6" guard who can do those types of things. Kaysen, they're not sure, but
Sure, man.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced it's really not even that complicated because with a guy like Kaysen who can shoot the three like he can, like I know I've said this before, and people have told me I'm wrong because he's going to be a better shooter, but I think of like a JJ Redick level shooter,
Hmm.
who can create and finish at the basket, which JJ never really could do. And then he can also defend at a really high level. And even though JJ became a really good team defender, he was never a great individual defender. And so he understood how to play his role in defense. But the idea that Kaysen can take full court the other team's all NBA player, put
Mm.
pressure on them, and make them feel uncomfortable, and maybe even pick their pocket pretty regularly. That the passing lanes he plays are incredible. And this brings me to really what I think is the key to everything right now for our success, which is the elite defense we play on the ball without
Mm.
fouling. Like it's one thing if you're forcing turnovers via taking charges, which we do, or deflections that go off of other players. It's nothing to create live ball turnovers. Like Shea's top 5 in the league in fast break points. Like,
Yeah.
but he's leading the league by almost a full steal per game in steals. I mean, but when Shea steals the ball, Shea scores. So there you go, guys. He has like 2.5, I think, steals a game, something like that. And he's
2.8.
averaging about almost 5 points a game in the fast break. There you go, guys. He gets a steal, he scores. That's Shea. But you know what else is like that? Kaysen. You know what else is like that? J Dub. And for different reasons, Josh Giddey is too. Like once Giddey has the ball in an advanced situation where there's cross matches, game over. Like, yeah, he's a slob wizard, but really, like, the reason that it's so easy for him to carve teams up in a sideline out of bounds is because you have these set plays and you can watch
You're
who's
right.
not paying attention and you can see who needs to slip to the basket and you can communicate with your eyes and there's no question for your offense where the ball is going to be coming from. So they can all operate in this plan. Well, when he has the ball in transition and there's a mismatch, like he's going to find that mismatch and it's going to get to the person who needs it. And even if that means he just gets downhill and lowers his shoulder and lays it in, that's what he's going to do. So our defense is elite. And then you throw in Chet's block shots, right? Those, a lot of them are ones that we can recover. KG, Minnesota player. Chet's talked about looking up to him, right?
Yep.
Like he was the king at that. Like he
Oh
hated
yeah.
it when people blocked the ball out of bounds. He wanted to gather the ball and start a fast break. And man, he would yell, but he was a really intelligent defender. And I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like what Chet does is he's blocking the ball by that he's choosing to keep it in play.
Hmm.
And that's something that we're seeing regularly. So his block shots turn into fast breaks, and everything we do turns into fast breaks. Our team is incredible in the fast break. Our team is great at forcing turnovers. We're great at doing what we need to do, but there's nothing better than a live ball steal. That's when the NBA is at its best. When it is nothing between Shea and the between J and the basket. And like I mean, I know people have been around this team for long enough know what I'm talking about, but we're just starting to catch our stride.
Yeah.
Just think about how good we are when we're in full stride.
Let's talk about my favorite team out there. All right, and then we're gonna get out of here. All right, guys, think about this. Chet at your five, right? You've got out there at the same time. You've got J Dub, you've got Shea, and you got Isaiah Joe at the guards, right? You could put Josh Giddey out there at the four. You could, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can interchange that four position. All right, man. But the reality of what you've got right there, okay, is you've got three guys that I think are elite in the NBA at driving to the bucket and pulling up for a jump shot. Just elite. J Dub showed us the other night. Shea obviously is showing us for the last few years what he can do. And now you're seeing Isaiah Joe really come out of his shell. And if Isaiah Joe, or Shea and J Dub just do what they do, right? And you let Chet in there setting screens, rolling off screens, going to the corner, getting offensive boards, putting it back up. Like you let Chet just do his thing out there, which is not demanding of the ball at all. And then you watch the most perfect offense in the NBA just go crazy. And that's what's happening. Like you see Isaiah Joe on the court with Chet, with Shea and J Dub guys, you know for a fact that the Oklahoma City Thunders are about to put up 15 points on the board every fucking time.
Dude, makes my dick so hard it's a 2x4.
Guys, and I want to get out before I have to leave. I want to say this, man. We don't give you guys enough credit and thank you guys enough for following us, subscribing to us, to liking and hitting that like button. You guys are amazing. It really means a lot to us. And there's been some dark days with this podcast, and you guys have been consistent ones that have continued to tickle our balls by giving us thumbs up, by following us and subscribing to us. It's just really amazing to be able to look at the numbers and be like, damn, we've been able to build a community here in Oklahoma City, being away from Oklahoma City, and yet we can sit here and look at Wash and Unk and Alhambra and Niner by Nature and all these guys that we've been connected to, and Chencho, Jared. I mean, you guys are for real, man, and we appreciate every single one of you guys through the times that we've been able to connect with you guys. So again, thank you so much. We love you, Blake. I'm waiting for a text message. Talk to you guys soon.